Hello everybody and welcome to today's review of A Small Light. It is the new limited series brought to you by National Geographic starring Bel Powley, Liev Schreiber, and Joan. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with something called The Diary of Anne Frank, but for those of you who have not heard of the book nor have read the book, here's a little background information for you. The Diary of Anne Frank is a book written by a young Jewish girl who went into hiding with her family during the Holocaust. They hid in the attic of a building where her father, Otto Frank, ran his own business, and they stayed hidden there for over 2 years. Unfortunately, in 1944, the family was eventually discovered by the Nazis and they were all sent away to concentration camps. By the end of World War II, Otto Frank was the only member of the family to survive the whole ordeal. He would then go on to publish his daughter's diary as a way to preserve her memory, and to this day, the Diary of Anne Frank is regarded as a very inspirational story of hope and how to hold on to your humanity during one of the darkest times in human history. Now, this series tells that story, but from a completely different perspective. This time around, we get to see the perspective of Miep Gies, played by Bel Powley. Miep was Otto Frank's secretary. She, along with her husband Joan, were responsible for hiding the Frank family, feeding them, keeping their location a secret, and the series even tells of how they were helping other Jewish refugees hide or flee from the Nazi party. I started watching this series because I was looking for something new to watch, and I was scrolling through Disney Plus, and that's where I found this show. I had already heard good things about this show. It currently has a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes, so call me intrigued. And as soon as I saw the first episode, I was immediately struck by how good the writing and how good the acting was. Bel Powley is a true leading lady. She plays Miep with such gusto and vigor, and this is a very interesting character. She is a very compassionate woman who is willing to risk everything to help the people that she cares about simply because she knows it's the right thing to do. And behind this great woman, there's also a great man. Joan, her husband, played by Joan. He is a perfect match for her. When these two characters first meet, you could tell that there are a lot of differences between the two of them. She is a free-thinking, very lively, outspoken young woman, while Joan, well, he's a little bit more closed off, shy, and reserved. But as their relationship builds, you kind of realize that they complement each other very well, and they actually balance each other out, because there are times when Miep can get a little bit overzealous with her actions. That's when Joan has to step in and remind Miep that if she says too much or even does too much, she could draw attention to herself, and that could spell trouble not only for her, but also the people that she's trying to protect. And at the same time, Miep is able to help Joan come out of his shell and become braver and more outspoken when he needs to be. As much as this is a great series about survival, this is also a great love story. The relationship between Joan and Miep are one of the strongest points in the whole series. Another strong dynamic in the series is the working and personal relationship between Miep and her employer, Otto Frank. This is one of the best performances I've seen from Liev Schreiber. His main objective is to protect his family at all costs. He has already had to flee his homeland in Germany because he already saw what was happening in that country, so he knew that his family was in danger. And you could tell just by looking at his eyes that there are times when he feels like he is failing in his own ambitions. It is truly a fantastic performance by Liev Schreiber, definitely deserving of an Emmy nomination if it ever comes to that point. Furthermore, I would say that this is a great history lesson because there are all sorts of things that I learned from watching this series. I learned about certain policies that were put into place before, during, and after the Germans invaded the Netherlands. I learned that there was a whole network of rebels being built trying to go up against the Germans and fight in secret. And the series does a great job at not judging the people who kind of refuse to speak out or do anything about it. Because after all, if you didn't go along with the Germans, you will most likely get arrested or sent to a concentration camp or just flat out get shot. This is how powerful and malevolent the Nazi Party was. These were dark times. And even though there are times when I felt like the series wasn't as violent as I thought it was going to be, considering it's a Holocaust piece, but the fact that it was made by National Geographic and is streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu, they had to make it accessible to families or young viewers. And it is. And it does paint a grim enough picture to show you the struggles and the anxieties that people went through in that time period. And overall, I highly recommend that you check this show out. It is definitely worth watching. And every now and then, I feel like people should look back on their history because they could learn from past atrocities so as to make sure that they never happen again. So I am going to give A Small Light an A+. Thank you for watching my video, ladies and gentlemen. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you again next time.